Very you pulling a preach? I don't know what that means, me pulling a preach. Well, damn. No wonder I felt pretty good about that. I felt like I was landing everything I needed to, and I was doing everything, you know, smoothly. Preach maimed Vindicator with full raid specking. It is suited. Oh, that's right. They played Vindicator. From watching a few of his videos, I would guess pulling a preach means willful ignorance of basic things because he thinks a proper new player experience means going 3 months without asking anybody, hey, how do you do this basic thing that I didn't read a tooltip on when I started playing, then blaming the game design. To be fair, there's a lot of information the game likes to obscure or likes to hide away from the player. There are quite a few things that Preach, you know, could have learned just by reading tooltips, but there's also plenty of things in the game that doesn't, you know, outright teach you. So some of that is fair criticism. Like, for example, the game doesn't teach you properly about, you know, reading below the character or the enemy portrait. Let me give you an example. I'm going to click on Eleanor over here. Their name is up here, right? Pretend that Eleanor's like an enemy. And they'll have special mechanics right below their name. I would not have known that if I had never done that one event in Diessa Plateau. No, not Diessa Plateau. It's a zone. Somewhere in Ascalon. If I had not done that event, I would have never known. I also had people point it out to me. All MMOs have a bunch of stuff in the game. They're complex by nature. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Guild Wars 2 is not, you know, the sole victim there. But still a victim. Still needs improvements. Refusing to ask questions of fellow players who are part of the game experience, then going weeks on months not knowing it entirely the fault of the person doing it. Again, I disagree. There is like a lot of information that's obscured. You know, the game just needs to do a better job at teaching the player, you know, certain things. I disagree with some of the things that Preach says, but I also agree with a lot of things Preach says. And this is just very much like, oh, I've been playing this game many, many years. You know, you ought to know the same base knowledge that I do. That's just not going to happen for new players, you know, who are completely new to MMOs.
Now listen to me, you miserable
You're already
socks.
looking at the enemy health bar. It says that what the enemy does right below that. I don't think, hold on. I don't think you should need a tutorial to point that out. I disagree. People like me have tunnel vision. We, you know, ignore the very tiny text below the character portrait. The vast majority of people don't even look at that. As you said, MMOs are very complex, right? By nature. Well, it would certainly help, you know, if they made things easier for the player to find out about that information. Anyway, regardless of the argument, like, it still doesn't, you know, there is no negative into improving the game, you know, the game and its user experience, its new player experience. That would always help, because that's something, you know, that always deters people away from playing the game if they just don't understand something. I'm not saying they should be, you know, they should get their hands held, but they gotta strike a balance. Yeah, as Sky said, thank you. Yeah, that's a lot more eloquent than I can put it. I had loads of issues when I first started the game. Like, I couldn't tell a lot of things. Wasn't able to pick up a lot. I think I had a little bit of difficulty figuring out the whole crowd control Defiance bar break thing too. Tutorials can be overwhelming, but never over-tutorializing in my opinion. As I said, yeah, they just gotta strike a balance. I like playing games, puzzle style, that try to intuitively have you figure out the core mechanics, and I've seen people basically implode on those. Haha, that's me! I am awful at puzzle games. That's me with Zelda. You have to actively learn that kind of stuff, and it takes you a while to absorb everything, especially for a new player. That's normal because it's a lot of information. There are a lot of tooltips on nearly everything in the game. And that depends on the individual. Not everyone's the same. People are very different from each other. Some people can, you know, they're absolutely fine with learning the game very, very slowly. Some people don't. Some people have very little patience and quit, you know, within the first 20 or so levels because they feel very confused. Or they feel very overwhelmed. They should tell VB he's deleting... Oh yeah, I did delete legendary materials. Yeah, I used to delete my mystic coins throughout... Yeah. I've been deleting Mystic Coins from the beginning all the way to End of Dragons. It wasn't until someone, you know, noticed I was deleting Mystic Coins on stream. Like, people were yelling at me, like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "What? I'm just cleaning up my inventory. Why are you yelling at me?" That shit was so funny. It's called Guild Wars. Join a guild and ask somebody, "Hey, what are these for?" Or even just sell on TP because they're tradable. Yeah, but not everybody's the same. I'm gonna, like, throw that up again. Some people just want to play an MMO and play alone, but not necessarily with other people. They like, you know, being surrounded by people, but not necessarily, you know, associate or socialize with other people. There's this thing called social anxiety. So you can't expect everybody to learn the same way, you know, you do. Also, the reason why I deleted Mystic Coins is because I don't like to worry about stuff until I need to worry about it. I cross bridges only when I need to cross them. I'm chill. I don't really care if I, you know, delete a bunch of needed materials. If it happens, it happens. At the end of the day, it's just a video game. I'm going to delete things in my inventory because selling loot for in-game currency is a foreign concept to me as a video game player. I delete things because it's a lot faster than selling them. It's a few more clicks for, you know, just selling things. Again, like, I'm chill. I don't really care. I don't put a lot of stock into, you know, meta gaming Guild Wars 2. I'm not a hardcore player. I don't raid. It's just a video game. Yeah, I could have made money, but, like, I make plenty of money just, you know, doing the content. Even Teapot is playing WoW now. That he is. I heard Teapot was getting bored of Guild Wars 2. He feels that Guild Wars 2 is too easy or something. He's been for a while. He was going for mythics. Yeah. I think that's like... I don't necessarily blame him for getting bored of Guild Wars 2 and liking WoW now. Because, like, for me it's the opposite. I've been playing I used to play World of Warcraft, and I played it for more than 12 years. And I've only been playing Guild Wars 2 for 2 years. So, like, how do I phrase this? The longer you play a game, the more jaded you become with it. And the more likely you have mastered it. So once you've mastered a video game, you start to get bored of it, right? Because you know the ins and outs of it, the game basically becomes very easy to you. I am guessing that's what happened with Teapot. Like, he's mastered Guild Wars 2. He has moved on to a new video game that he, you know, has no clue or no knowledge of. And he's finding, you know, some enjoyment and some challenge with it. That's what happens. That's what happens with a lot of people. Teapot never found Guild Wars 2 hard. He's explicitly stated many times that this game is not for him and his playstyle. But nonetheless, he enjoyed playing, streaming it for all these years. Oh, really? Okay. Fair enough. I was just trying to, like, rationalize why someone would, you know, play one game over another after playing it for so long. There isn't a big issue right now with new people refusing to ask for help. It's not. I mean, I see people ask for help all the time in general chat or map chat or whatever. But that's not to say that there aren't people who are not asking for help. There's no way you can keep track of that because, you know, they're not saying anything, right? Yeah, I'm saying it's not a major issue because those people who don't ask for help aren't blaming the game for it. The guy in chat made it feel like that's a huge problem that's happening right now. I mean, that's what happens when people, like, don't try to think, you know, from the perspective of, you know, someone else. They are hell-bent into... I take it that they're probably like, why aren't players playing like me? Why don't they think like me? Everybody should be the same as me. Everybody should learn the same way I do. You know? Though that's not plausible. That's not, you know, logical or rational. Those are diving goggles.
But seriously, why haven't you played Lies of P?
Because I'm not, like, super interested in Souls games. I'm not a Souls gamer. If everyone thought the same, it'll get boring quick. I agree.
Listen, Elby. Your job, you hear me? Your job is to learn and study the game. It's wiki, it's forums, and every third-party app you can to master a game and never be inefficient while playing for even a moment. You must spot every single detail on the UI. If you don't, you're just stupid.
VB, you know how I learned about streamer blindness? Me? It was the numerous times watching Jesse Cox play a game. Oh my god, I don't even need to finish reading that sentence. I know. I've been watching Jesse Cox ever since 2010. I'm a long-time viewer of his channel. I know. Watching him play a game and a huge text would pop up on screen and say something like, press A to not die. Press A now. And he'd be shouting like, what do I do? Why am I dying? Yeah. It's not just him. There's a few other content creators that, you know, just don't pick up, you know, obvious tells from the video game. It's just a brain thing, you know. And I had that problem too. You guys know. I tunnel vision hard sometimes. Heidelin, is that you? What happened to the... Oh, that's what that was. I was thinking that music sounded very familiar, but... I just pushed that to the back of my head. Anyway, yeah, all those content creator or streamer issues that I just mentioned, you know, the whole brain issue thing, is only exacerbated when you're streaming. Because the human brain is not designed to be splitting its attention between so many things. So I'm playing the game, I'm keeping track of other elements of the UI, I am keeping track of the in-game chat, I'm also keeping track of Twitch chat. All of that is insane. That's like, the brain should not be doing that. And that's why, you know, some of my issues are exacerbated. All my tunnel vision stuff, and I'm pretty sure it's the same thing for other streamers and content creators.